Good evening and welcome to Berkshire Jazz. I'm your host, Phil Tierney, and I apologize for that attempt Clark Terry pulled on me to play during Brubeck's intro, but we solved it because Clark Terry's up next from a 1957 recording entitled Duke with a Difference. And I'm sure you'll hear the difference as you listen to it. It's slight, but it's good jazz. But it's produced by a group of Duke Ellington sidemen, which include, of course, Clark Terry, Britt Woodman, Quentin Jackson, Johnny Hodges, Paul Gonsalves, Billy Strayhorn, Tyree Green, and Jimmy Wood, and Sam Woodyard. A good collection of great musicians. So without further ado, let's listen to the tune that kept trying to play during my introduction. We'll listen to Sea Jam Blues, follow that with Cottontail, and then Mood Indigo, Take the A-Train, which of course was Duke's theme song, and In a Mellow Tone. And again, here is Clark Terry leading Duke with a Difference. The Clark Terry Group, all alumni of the Duke Ellington Orchestra, leading on a 1957 release entitled Duke with a Difference. We heard Sea Jam Blues, Cottontail, Mood, Indigo, Take the A-Train, and In a Mellow Tone, all Duke Ellington hits. And you're listening to WTBR 89.7 FM here in Pittsfield. This is Berkshire Jazz. I'm your host, Phil Tierney. And WSBR FM 88.1 in Lee. And you might even be listening to us in WETF, the jazz station in South Bend, Indiana. At any rate, let's go on with the music. Up next, it's Stanley Turretine from a 1965 recording entitled Joyride. And joining Stanley on this endeavor, we'll hear Kenny Burrell on guitar, Herbie Hancock on piano, Bob Crenshaw on bass, Grady Tate on drums, and Stanley, of course, on tenor sax. And they will do River's Invitation, A Taste of Honey, and Gravy Train. And I think I mentioned this is a 1965 release entitled Joyride, Stanley Turretine. 14. From a 1965 recording entitled Joyride. That last tune, Gravy Train, written by Lou Donaldson. Before that, they did A Taste of Honey and started us off with A River's Invitation. Johnny Stanley on the tenor sax, Kenny Burrell on guitar, Herbie Hancock on piano, Bob Cranshaw on bass, Grady Tate on drums, and the orchestra was conducted by Oliver Nelson. And you're listening to WTBR 89.7 FM here in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, WSBR-FM 88.1 in Lee, Massachusetts. And this is Berkshire Jazz. I'm your host, Phil Tierney. And we started this program off with Clark Terry's Duke with a Difference. And I wanted to play something similar, this by alto saxophonist Johnny Hodges, who was certainly a key member of the Ellington Orchestra in an album, 1954, entitled Used to Be the Duke. So they're all kind of using the music of Duke Ellington. Actually, Duke wrote only one song in Johnny Hodges' list of items to play, and that was Warm Valley. We'll hear it a little later on in this set. We'll start with the title tune, Used to Be the Duke. We'll then move to On the Sunny Side of the Street. Then a tune entitled Sweet as Bear Meat, which I think Johnny Hodges might have written. Then Duke's Warm Valley, and then Autumn in New York. And joining Johnny Hodges on alto, as I said, John Coltrane on tenor, Harry Carney on baritone saxophone, Jimmy Hamilton on clarinet, Harold Shorty Baker on trumpet, Lawrence Brown on trombone, Richard Powell, Cal Cobbs on track 2, John Williams on bass, and Louis Belson on drums. So here's Johnny Hodges, Used to Be the Duke. 89.7 FM, WTBR, Pittsfield, 88.1 WSBR, Lee, Massachusetts. Johnny Hodges from a 1954 recording, Used to Be the Duke. That was the first tune we listened to. Then it was On the Sunny Side of the Street. Then Hodges compositions, Sweet as Bear Meat. That tune, Warm Valley, Duke wrote. And it only seems fair, having played Clark Terry's Duke with a Difference and Johnny Hodges' Used to Be the Duke, that we listened to Duke Ellington. And this is from one of my favorite Ellington albums, and that's a hard thing to say because they're all so perfectly done. This is Festival Session, 1959. And Duke wrote all these songs except the first one we're going to listen to, Perdido. But he played that a lot. In fact, that was said to be Clark Terry's song because he played it every time it was played, it seems, with the Duke Ellington Orchestra. Then Things Ain't What They Used to Be, Jam with Sam, Cop Out Extension, and VIP Boogie. Here's the Duke Ellington Orchestra from Festival Session with Perdido. Excuse me for interrupting this track, but I should have said this before I started. That was Cop Out Extension. That was Paul Gonsalves, tenor sax you heard. Paul was from Newport, he was from New Bedford, but after an appearance in 1956 at the Newport Jazz Festival, where he played similar to that, a lengthy solo to the point where people were out of their seats, and some would call it a Newport festival, a jazz festival. Anyway, and up next is going to be Things Ain't What They Used to Be, a tune I used to use as a theme song during the COVID situation, and probably could use it again. But it'd be Johnny Hodges' alto saxophone we hear there, and very easily identifiable sound. You don't confuse him with anybody else. And we'll finish with Jam with Sam, and on that tune, listen for Duke. Duke will yell out the names of the soloists. In fact, as I said earlier about Paul Gonsalves being born in New Bedford, after his performance at Newport, Duke would always introduce him as Paul Gonsalves from Newport, Rhode Island. But let's get back to the music. Things ain't what they used to be. Duke Ellington there, Festival Session 1959. That last tune, Jam with Sam. And you're listening to WTBR 89.7 FM here in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and WSBR-FM 88.1 in Lee, Mass. This is Berkshire Jazz. I'm your host, Phil Tierney. And something I don't do as much as I should do, I think. You ask, why don't you do it then? I like instrumentals better than vocals, so I don't play a lot of singers. But this fellow, I would have to say, is one of my favorite, if not the favorite, male vocalist in jazz for me. And I'm speaking of Al Jarreau. So we're going to listen to some Al Jarreau here. A little break from the instrumentals and the big bands and all. With an album simply entitled Love Songs. We'll listen to We're in This Love Together, So Good, After All, Your Song, Through It All, and Bright and Sunny Babe. Enjoy them.
It's like a diamond ring, it's a precious thing, and we never want to lose it. It's like a favorite song that we love to sing. Every time we hear the music, and we're in this love together. We got the kind that lasts forever. Like berries on the vine, it gets sweeter all the time. It's like a rainy night and candlelight, and ooh, it's so romantic. We got the whole thing working out so right. Yes. And it's just the way we planned it. We're in this love together. We got the kind that lasts forever. Don't you know that we're in this love together? And like on the vine, it gets sweeter all the time. When you came along, you made it safe for love to survive. I just stayed and dreamed, and you came like I knew you would. I've been round before, but this feels so good. I could not walk by, I knew that I'd found what's at the end of the rainbow. There's no place on earth I'd rather be than staying right here with you. It's not about luck, I don't need to knock on wood. No, no, I've been round before, but this feels so good. It's so hard to believe that I wake up each day next to you. Time after time in the cold morning light. It's good to know that it's when it's staring right at you. That look in your eyes says everything and tells me I'm home. For once in my life, you know I don't feel misunderstood. Well, I've been round before, but this time, you know, it feels so sure. Been round before, but this feels so good. Hey, hey, hey. Been round before, this feels so good. Y'all sing it. What I mean. It's exactly what I'm talking about. This feels so good, so good, so good, so good, so good, so good. This feels so good, so good, so good, so good, so good. There was a time I knew that no matter come what may, love would prevail. And then inside the dreams I knew came the question lovers fear, can true love fail? Then I would miss the childhood wish, and haven't I sung to you of the knight in armor bright and true to you, darling. After all, I will be the one to hold you in my arms. After all, I will be the one to hold you. I will be the one to hold you in my arms. In my arms. I know in my heart and mind that no matter come what may, love will survive. Love, the author of space and time, keeps the galaxies and each sparrow alive. And the love that heals the wound after the war is through is the knight in armor bright, faithful and true to you, darling. After all, I will be the one to hold you in my arms. And after all, I will be the one to hold you. I will be the one to hold you in my arms. In my arms. After all, I will be the one to hold you in my arms. Telling you after all, ooh, I will be the one to hold you. I will be the one to hold you in my arms. In my arms. After all, baby, I will be the one to hold you in my arms. Honey, and after all, I will be the one to hold you. I will be the one to hold you in my arms. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside, but I'm not one of those who can easily hide. Oh, well, I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, you know, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. Oh, live. If I were a sculptor, and then again, oh man, sitting making potions in travel and show. Well, I know it's not much, but girl, it's the best I can do. You see, my gift is my song, yeah. This here one's for you, just for you. And you can tell everybody that this is your song. Yeah. All the words may be quite simple, but now that it's done, yeah. I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. Yes, girl. Sat on the roof, child, yes I did. Then I kicked off the moors, but a few of the verses, you know they, well, it got me quite hoarse. But the sun's been real kind while I wrote down the song. You see, it's for people like you, yeah. Well, to keep it turned on. Excuse my forgetting, but these things I do. Well, you see, girl, I've forgotten if they're green or they're blue. Well, anyway, you know the thing is, honey, what I really mean, God, is that radio's on the sweetest ass I believe I'll ever see. Oh, no. Tell everybody there that this is your song, yes you can. Oh, the words may be quite simple, but now that it's done, yes, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. Sing the line one more time, girl. I hope you don't mind, hope you don't mind that I put down in words these sweet words. How wonderful life is, baby, while you are in my world. I sit you on the dock of the bay, watching the tide rolling away. So I'll be thinking of you, love, sweet memories too, all of you. Come to me whenever you're in time of need. I won't melt away like a fair weather friend. On me you can depend. If I may, I'd like to take this time to say I'll be by your side till the sun grows dark and the moon brings light to day. It's me for you, and you for me. That's how it's got to be. Though faint hearts may come and go, here's one thing you always know. Through it all, you can depend on me. Tears begin to fall, and I will chase the clouds away. me for you and you for me. That's how it's got to be. Though love affairs may come and go, here's one thing you always know. Through it all, you can depend on me. Tears begin to fall, and I will chase the clouds away. Through it all, and I will ease your pain when sorrow comes to call. Through it all, through it all. No empty promises, you can be sure. We've both been down this road, and this time so much more, so much more.
Al Jarreau, Through It All. We're going to do your song, After All, So Good, and We're in This Love Together. And we're almost out of time. I want to finish the show with a tremendous tenor saxophonist, better known as the Prez, Lester Young. And he'll be here with the Count Basie Orchestra in Newport in 1957. You'll hear him introduced by John Hammond. And we'll listen to them do Jumpin' with Symphony Sid and Polka Dots and Moonbeams. And we'll start the show next week with the same artist, Lester Young, because I can't get everything I want to play in. Here is Jumpin' with Symphony Sid.
list is coming. Well, I think the greatest tenor saxophone player who's ever blown, Lester Young. And Joe Jones.
We'll start next week's show with more from Lester Young, most of them recorded in the 30s and 40s. And that was from the, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Let's see if I can come up with it here. Yeah, that was the Ken Burns release of jazz that I extracted the Lester Young solos from. We'll also listen to some Clifford Brown and Cal Tjader, vibraphonist, among others. So stay tuned here. John Pollock rides into town in the jazz train after Berkshire Jazz. If you've been listening to us out at WETF, the jazz station in South Bend, Indiana, where there's always great jazz to listen to. But after Berkshire Jazz, it's Priebus on Jazz with Scott Priebus. And then the last call, the host, Brent Benulis. So stay safe, be well, and thanks for listening.